here's the lay of the land. Here's my conventional test, and here's the scores. What say you? And then let somebody make a run at it. And then, the job that I'm going to do up this weekend for that meeting, whether we use it or not, so the client, young couple, stucco house, its own built-in problems. Unknowing to me, they had called in everybody. Is one of those jobs where they're pulling out all the stops. So I go in, I search, I do what I do, I pull samples. I took like 5 air samples and swabs, and I've got the ATP tester where I can test stuff immediately, what the bacteria load is, to determine if that's somewhere I want to take a test. Of this house, probably 2,500 square foot house, 2,000 square foot house, they had a marble shower, which traditionally is a problem. And that's the shower that was in the May job, right? And it was leaky and there was some mold around it, but it wasn't, so it was a source removal that would be small to medium in size. And the house was incredibly clean. I had trouble getting a dust load on the Swiffer for the Hertz Me and Actino. So this is the Graber job. So the Hertz Me score was 14, which a 10 and below is a pass, or it's at least on the normal side, and then so 11 to 15 is borderline, and then 15 and above is high. So it's a 14, heavier on it was Aspergillus and Penicillium. No Stachy was found in there, and then the load Actino score on the load of the house was Q1, which is what you want. Q1's green, 10%, 11%. On the Actino water damage score, the pathogen score was low. So it's kind of shaping up because the house was really clean. I found one little area around the shower, so backed up, so bedroom, shower, backed up to that. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, we got a little bit of remediation. Rest of the house looks perfect. It's really clean. The people are clean. So all things are leading towards, we just got some source removal and polish it up, and we're going to be good. Then I get to the Actino Prevalence Index. Now that's Dr. Schumacher's index for a SEARS patient, meaning somebody that's been diagnosed, and what that looks like, a brain scan on a SEARS patient looks like a CTE damage. It looks like the NFL football player's brain scan is what that looks like. And it's significant. So they have brain damage, and that's a lot of my clients right now. So the prevalence index score comes back at 21, the highest score I've seen to date. I'm going, all right, that makes no sense. This house is borderline, short of one little area, looking perfect. So I call the lab twice on this job. And, I get the explanation. I'm like, okay, the explanation is basically that scores for a patient, that's between the patient and the doctor. And all of this adds together and determines that the SEARS patient would not be able to be in that. That's what the 21 means. They cannot be in that house. So I call the client and I'm breaking this information to them. I'm like, guys, this makes no sense. I'm sorry. This is kind of new to me. And then here we go. They go, well, Brian, and it wasn't vindictive at all. That was in their defense. They were pulling out all the stops to do anything they could do to figure out what's going on. So before I got there, and they didn't tell me any of this, before I got there, the house had been detail cleaned by a professional. So it was really clean. Then the day after I left, they had the dog come in behind me and found a wall full of Stachy in the dining room from a soffit leak up high. So apparently the sheetrock wasn't soft. So when I'm testing materials and looking, I'm poking with my moisture meter. When I poke sheetrock that's been wet, it's usually a little softer, and that's a red flag. I can ATP test it, get behind the baseboard, see if I can find something, rattle around on the wall and take an air sample. Well, I didn't have anything telling me to do that. I didn't see, so I didn't take an air, let's see if I even took an air sample in that area. I did not. I did the office. I did the other front window in the house, but not that one. And so come to find out, I missed a wall full of Stachybotrys. And that 100% explains, so the dog